school can be tough. We'll help you navigate some of the areas you need help with, including the college preparation process, by providing advice for families. Every student is different and has a unique path. That's why we created this podcast. Our innovative and intentional approach builds confidence in the individual student. Listen each week to find out how students can score better on college placement tests with techniques and methods that build confidence, beat test anxiety, and identify strengths within each student. You're listening to Simply Smarter with hosts Caleb and Jill. Check out our blog at GetSmarterPrep.com for more college prep-related topics.
Success looks different for everyone. For some students, success may be getting accepted into their dream college. For others, it may equate to a significant scholarship, and for others, it may be increasing their ACT score by 3 points. Everybody has a different measure of success. On today's episode, we're talking about what success looks like for a number of students and how they chose to reach their goals. Hi, Caleb.
Hey, Jill. How are you today?
Good.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty great, actually. Yeah.
Coming off a birthday weekend. How was it?
It was a blast. It was beautiful weather here in KC.
Yes.
So we spent like the entire weekend going from one place to the next to just being outside. It was great.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Happy belated.
Your family in town?
I do. My mom and dad came down.
That's
so,
awesome.
my mom's here for a couple weeks. So I'm sure my husband loves that. They have a really good relationship. So they really do get along. So it's good for everybody.
That's good.
Yeah, we can go on a couple dates, leave the kids at home.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, we all love having her down here. So it's been a treat.
Very cool.
It's been a treat. Okay, so we are talking about how to measure success, but earlier we were talking about some of the best campaign slogans for different companies, and some of them have been really successful, and some of them you'll know like right off the bat. So
Right.
I'm wanting to quiz you to see how well you think you do.
This is good. This could be rough.
No, I think some of them are easy. Some of them are pretty hard.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's see if any of this graduate marketing classes that I took, let's see if those help at all.
This one's so easy. You'll get it. Like, you'll get it.
Yeah.
I can't say it. Okay, I have to be like in character. They're great.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah.
Frosted Flakes.
Okay, there you go.
There it
Frosted
is.
Flakes. Kellogg's.
Thank you. Thank you for getting into that, too.
You're welcome. And you can actually see him, right? Tony the
Yeah,
Tiger.
yeah.
Okay, this is another one. I didn't recognize this one, so I don't know if you will.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? I feel like it's like Serve Pro or an insurance company.
Not even close.
Or not even close. What's the worst that could happen? I don't know.
Dr. Pepper.
Really?
I know.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's so dumb. But obviously it's been successful for them. It's Dr. Pepper. They're not going to have a slogan that's not.
Do you think their sales would have been like 10 times more if they had a different slogan, though?
No.
That's interesting. I didn't know that one.
I know. Okay, you might get this one. A diamond is forever. It really is.
Oh, geez. Now the pressure's on. Like, which one do I attribute that to? Is it K Jewelers?
Nope.
Nope. I don't think it's our hometown, Hellsberg.
No.
Diamond is forever. The Shane Company.
Oh no, I think that's local. Isn't it local?
No, those are all over. Because I'm gonna freak everybody out right now. So I used to listen to the radio a lot in high school, and the Shane Company just off Arapahoe Road on Emporia Street, 1/2 mile east of I-25, and in Westminster off the Boulder Turnpike at 104th. Open Monday through Friday till 8, Saturday and Sunday till 5. You're welcome, Shane Company, for that plug.
There you go. That was a little intense. That you knew all
So
that.
if you're in Denver, there are directions to the Shane Company.
Well, now you know.
Diamonds are forever.
Diamond is
You're gonna
forever.
have to help me out.
De Beers.
De Beers, right.
Yeah.
I should have gotten a little bit more specific.
Okay,
yeah.
This one is shocking. I had no idea this was their slogan.
Uh-oh.
Don't be evil.
Don't be evil. For some reason, I feel like that's a bank, like U.S. Bank.
No.
Or don't be evil.
I'll give you.
Is it super
you use
quirky
it
and weird?
all the time. All the time. Constantly you're using
Crest
it.
toothpaste.
No. More than that.
More than that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it coffee?
No.
Because I drink a lot of coffee.
No.
Don't be evil.
Like, you use it more than coffee. I'm not even joking. Don't be evil.
My computer?
Close.
Like Microsoft?
Close-ish.
HP?
Nope.
Dell?
Nope. Do you give up?
IBM?
No.
No, I give up.
You're going to be shocked.
I am.
Google.
Really?
Yes.
Don't be evil?
Yes. It was part of their corporate campaign. Don't be evil.
Interesting.
Do what's right. Isn't that crazy? It's an odd one, right?
That is, yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Okay. This one you'll get. That was easy.
Oh man.
Oh, come on.
The easy button, Staples?
Yes.
Okay.
My husband has like one of those buttons on his desk. That was easy. Okay. Have it your way.
Have it your way. Hold on. This is fast food.
Yes.
I feel like it's a place that it's not like Subway because that is how you get it your way, and that would make too much sense. Is it Burger King?
Yes. Okay. Very good.
I feel like that one kind of confuses me because have it your way like seems like they're going to make it right in front of you, and you get all these different options. And
yeah, you don't really. It's whatever's on the menu.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Is it in you?
Is it in you?
Yes.
I feel like it's a sports-related something.
That's correct. Okay. Kind of.
Oh, that
Ish.
Kind of threw me off.
I know. Tick tock, tick tock.
I know. We need the Jeopardy music going. I don't know. Let me give it a good guess.
Okay, go.
Is it?
It's something that you consume.
Something that you consume?
I'll give you that.
Power bar.
No.
I don't know that.
Gatorade.
Gatorade? Mm-hmm. That was going to be my next guess.
Yeah. Okay, and the last one, I think you'll get this one. The Uncola.
The Uncola. Mm-hmm. Is that RC Cola? No.
No, because that is a cola. The Uncola.
Well, I would have said Dr. Pepper before, but
no.
Surely you didn't do 2 Dr. Pepper there.
Nope. Think of a, I'll give you a hint. Think of a soda pop that
Mountain
is,
Dew.
No.
Sprite.
Close.
Sierra Mist.
Oh, come on. 7 Up.
7-Up. Oh.
Okay.
The Uncola.
The Uncola.
Huh.
You got some of those right.
Yeah, I didn't do great, though.
Some of them are really hard. Don't be evil.
Yeah,
Google.
What?
Really?
That's weird.
It's so weird. But those are fun.
You should have given me some time to study.
Oh, well, then you would have been cheating. Then you would have known. So we were talking about this before.
I don't handle not doing well on tests. So.
I know. I know you don't. That's
very
why
vulnerable.
I picked some really tough ones, and I tricked you. But we were talking about this before when we were talking about different slogans, and those are ones that we were not talking about before. That's why Caleb didn't do 100% on that. Can we just mark that down for once in his life? He didn't get 100%.
Wow.
Okay, so anyway, I said, what do you think the best slogan is? And we both said together, just do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is.
Everybody knows it.
It is. Like, a huge success.
You immediately think of Nike.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge success. So anyway, that's what we're talking about, measuring success, but only when it comes to the ACT and everything surrounding that. So, Caleb, what do you think measuring success looks like for students who are thinking about taking the ACT, who are maybe going through test prep, who have taken the ACT? What?
Yeah, so I think we've talked about it a little bit in past episodes. I genuinely believe it should be unique to the individual, right? I hate when students compare themselves to their peers or what they think their peers are doing, right? Because again, maybe that really isn't the true representation, whatever they're hearing or saying or whatever else.
It's not.
So I want to make sure people are targeting what's important for them and what makes sense. And in this regard, I think that composite score is the thing that you need to stay focused on, right?
Okay.
Like, don't get caught up in the weeds. Sometimes there are certain sections that just are lower and we just can't quite get them, but guess what? Maybe they're just easier sections to get points on.
Right.
And maybe you sacrifice that one because you can work half as hard or half as much time and see as an equal improvement in another section. So in my opinion, I tend to think that the English section is the easiest section to improve. So if students can learn how to target that particular section and follow the rules, like verbatim, like don't deviate, because the test makers have set this up for us, right? Like, let's just knock it down, right?
Yeah.
So really just kind of figuring out how to approach that section can make a huge difference, right? We had a student who just took the test recently, and some of her sections, they all went up, but some of them were up a couple points. But her English was up 12 points.
Whoa.
12 points. And you know
That's
what 12
a massive
points
increase.
does? That's 3 points to the composite score right off the bat, just from one section.
Just from following the instructions, the strategy.
Right, exactly. And it was a huge, unbelievable improvement. I mean, she got up to a 34 in that English section, which was awesome.
That was just on the April test?
That was just on, one of the state assessment here in Kansas.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was excited for our tutor who helped her.
Awesome.
That was neat.
That's a good story.
But again, making sure that you're focused on that composite score, because most schools, they don't care what you're doing in those other sections. Unless you're, again, the caveat, there's always caveats, but if you're want to go into engineering, your math score needs to be really high, right? Otherwise, that's not going to go out. Not going to go very well for you. But really focus on that composite score.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about your grades? I mean, we've talked about our grades a lot, but you can't be slacking off your freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, that's
and then expect to get a, 3.98, for your GPA.
Yeah. That can be a tough thing to kind of come back from, right? Like if you're freshman, even just 1 year, freshman year, and you just don't do what you need to do, yikes.
Yeah.
Your composite GPA by senior year, even if you get 4.0 straight across the board, if you had a 2.0.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's no way.
You're maybe over that 3.0, but it's just tough, right?
And honestly, that's what a lot of the scholarship brackets, they look at your GPA as well as your ACT score.
Right.
So it's combination.
Absolutely. Yep, it's a combo for sure. And a lot of schools have that matrix where it's as simple as just finding your GPA on, let's say, the y-axis and your ACT on the x-axis, and you just match it up. Like, it's that simple. I love when schools do that.
Yeah, that makes it easy.
I hate when things are convoluted and messy, and unfortunately a lot of colleges make it messy and convoluted.
Of course.
But there are schools like KU locally. They do a great job of creating their matrix, and you know exactly what kind of money you're going to get for your scores and your GPA.
And that's right online.
That's
We've looked at that before. I mean, you just go, straight up to your scholarships, and it's right there on the website. So they do make it really easy.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
So that can be a big thing. Making sure that we're focused on kind of the goal from the very beginning, right? It's hard to catch up, like you were talking about. Like freshman year doesn't go well. But again, GPA is going to look a little bit different at each school. Some schools will use class rank, and some colleges will kind of pay attention to that pretty heavily because that context matters. If everybody at your school, for instance, had it, if your average GPA is a 3.8 and you have a 3.7, like a 3.7 on paper looks amazing, but in context, maybe it's not quite as strong, right?
But then you're below average.
So maybe they're looking at something like that, right?
Yep.
The other thing to kind of watch for is that colleges are going to recalculate your GPA, and some will actually weight maybe junior and senior year more heavily than freshman and sophomore, which is a good thing for some students, right?
Is that every college or certain colleges?
Virtually every college will recalculate because every high school has a different scale, right? We all kind of grew up on the 4.0 scale, but even at my high school way back in the day, we had a weighted scale for students who took more advanced classes, whether it was AP or accelerated or whatever it was, right? So they're going to recalculate your GPA based upon a normal scale, like whatever they use. Right? So there are lots of schools that use the 100-point scale. Well, that doesn't translate directly to a 4-point scale, so they're going to recalculate that as well. Some schools will use your extracurricular, not your extracurricular, what's the word I'm looking for? Your elective classes. Yeah. But others won't. Some will choose music, but they won't count gym.
Really?
Every school's going to kind of look at that a little bit differently. So when you are applying to a school and they ask you for all of your grades in the application itself, it's very intentional because they're going to automatically just recalculate from that. Yeah. And again, of course, you want to be honest because they're going to get your transcripts one way or another.
Yeah, of course they are.
But they're going to recalculate your GPA from that.
Interesting. That's something I didn't know. Yeah, that is very interesting. What about the future of college admissions?
Oh, yes.
Oh, what does that look like?
I've been out of higher ed for a little while. I don't know. I'm sure, but I'm not sure everybody knows.
I've known you for 10 years plus.
I worked in higher ed for about 11 years before coming to Get Smarter Prep. So it was kind of fun living in that world. I like what I do more now.
Well,
I'm helping students kind of learn how to approach college and the ACT and SAT or into graduate school, the GRE or the LSAT. It's just kind of more exciting and fun and interesting, and I think it maybe fits me a little bit better.
Yeah,
but
and you're a great teacher too, so it does fit you.
Thank you. So I've been out of it for a little bit, but I've been reading a really, really good book, and ironically, what is today's podcast called?
Measuring Success.
And what's the name of my book? You can read it.
Measuring Success.
And the subtitle, which is super nerdy, Testing Grades in the Future of College Admissions.
Oh boy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, this fits exactly. And you didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
You didn't even know when you came up with the title. Man alive.
We are just clicking.
So this book has been very, very fascinating. One of the things that it's been focusing in on is that debate with regard to test optional. Right? A lot of schools, we've seen that. When I was working on the East Coast at a small liberal arts school, it was kind of the hot thing. Like, everybody was like, oh, we're all going to be test optional within the next 5 years.
Not really. That didn't happen.
Right? And that was back in 2004. So here we are 15 years later, and we're still not test optional. So but there are a lot of schools that are still moving in that direction, right? And just making sure that we know how to manage that process, because for some students it's brilliant, it's fantastic. Maybe you have very severe test anxiety,
right?
And you were a great student. Like, leverage that. Make sure you're applying without that ACT score, because they may not require it.
So how do they measure whether or not you're going to? So they're going to
be using all the other pieces, right? So they're going to be using your college transcripts like every other school. They will probably, most of the schools that are test optional usually have a little bit more comprehensive or intense essay process. So maybe there are 4 or 5 essays that you have to write that are on very specific topics, instead of maybe one at a school that will use an ACT.
Yeah.
So they'll use some additional supplements like that, or it could be an interview. It could be a lot of different components to kind of figure out, like, hey, are you a fit for our school?
Yeah.
That's really what the ACT and SAT are about, is to help college admissions professionals have a better sense of your preparation and what that looks like. And sometimes it doesn't seem fair, as we've talked about in past episodes. Like, just last week we talked about what the ACT was really about, and it's just different, right? And if we don't make that adjustment, it's tough to see a good improvement. But it's a skill that's useful at the collegiate level as well as later on in life, making that, knowing what to expect and making that adjustment for it.
Exactly.
So that ACT, there is a lot of value to it, and that's one of the things that I found interesting about this book, is that the book is talking about kind of the pros and cons of it and why some colleges are choosing to do it. So from that student perspective, be aware, like, if you are that high anxiety kid who just struggles with tests, like, that's one thing. But also keep in mind that students who don't submit their ACT or SAT scores to these test optional schools actually get accepted at a lower rate than those who submit their scores. Because there's still people involved here, right? So subjectively, if it's optional and you don't do it, then I just assume what?
You didn't take it.
Or you didn't do
turn
well,
it in. Yeah.
Right? You just didn't do as well as, and you're just unhappy with that score, right? So there's some human pieces there too. So keep that in mind as you're starting to look at schools like that. But the other thing to keep in mind, the rationale behind schools choosing to go this route, it seems a little flimsy. And I think that the data will continue to come out, and there will be more and more research going into it. And I actually kind of think that we'll start moving away from this idea.
Decline a little bit.
I think that the tests may change and adjust, or there may be some additional competitors pop up over the next 5 or 10 years that kind of measure a little bit more specifically what colleges are looking for.
Right. That'll be interesting to take note of and
absolutely
check on that.
I mean, it seems kind of strange that we take the same test to get into Harvard as we do to get into state school, USA, whatever it may be. Because the academic performance and experience is just going to be very different.
Yeah, it is.
And expectations are going to be different.
Yep.
So I think colleges will start kind of moving in a direction that kind of allows them to find fits for their particular institution rather than just this kind of big generic test that, again, has some predictive value, but maybe not as good as it could be.
It's not the end-all, be-all.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Can you give us a few examples of different students that you've had throughout the year that maybe took a different route or did things a little bit differently that were still highly successful, just didn't do it the traditional way?
Yeah, absolutely. So one student that I think of from that we worked with in the past, and we've worked with some of his siblings, he actually was accepted last spring to Harvard.
Nice.
How about that, huh? And to SMU.
Oh, okay.
And it was very interesting because SMU was offering a full scholarship and some awesome opportunities to kind of dig into the community, and got to know a past president and all that kind of fun stuff.
That'd be awesome.
And he actually opted to go that route. And
yeah.
I can totally respect that,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's everybody thinks that if you get into Harvard, you better go, or else.
That's it.
But
Congratulations.
It just wasn't maybe the right fit for him.
So did he get any scholarship money towards Harvard or no?
Harvard primarily is going to be completely need-based, right? And I think his family may have been a little bit higher income.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to get much, if any, scholarship money there. But again, with his high ACT score and great GPA, he not only got into SMU, but he also got this really cool opportunity to
That would be really hard to pass
a
up.
past president once a semester. It's kind of neat.
Right. No, that's a good one.
Another, again, here in KC, we have the UMKC 6-year med program. And sometimes students, it can be a great fit for them, right? You're just kind of sliding right in from three years of undergrad into 3 years of medical school, and then 6 years later, you're a doctor. And,
right.
Whoa.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, how'd that happen? So I've had some students who've kind of had that as their goal, and it takes some work because it's pretty difficult to get in. I think their average ACT score is right around that 30 or 31. So you have to make yourself pretty competitive. And I've had students who have started in the mid-20s or high 20s and just wanted to make sure they were getting into the program. But I've had a student that started off with a 21 who again worked her tail off, and she was brilliant and so much fun to work with.
Yeah.
She hated the reading section. I'll never forget that. And she dreaded just getting to that section initially. Yeah. But by the end, like, I'd watch her do a time drill, and she was like smiling.
Oh,
she was doing it. It was just kind
I'm
of
going to conquer this
huge turn, and I loved to see that.
Good for her.
So that was a big thing for her.
Yeah.
So again,
really
just kind of making sure you're targeting what makes sense for you, and if you're really passionate about it, like, keep working toward it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
The one other one that I have, so a student that I worked with this last year, and I keep in touch with him and his mother, and he was accepted into a small liberal arts school in upstate New York, and really cool opportunities, going to get to play collegiate sports, just really, really, really high quality kid. But he actually had an opportunity to go to New York City. He got invited as a semifinalist for a scholarship. And one of the school's alumni gives away some pretty decent money.
Yeah.
And he actually won the scholarship for his class. He's going to get $128,000 over 4 years. Like,
that's a huge amount.
Right?
How do you say no to that?
Right.
He didn't. He took it.
No, he took it, and he's going to be great. And it's just a small school. It's just something that seemed to fit him pretty well.
Yeah.
He got a chance to do what he loves to do.
Yeah, good for him.
Sports. And, he wants to study. He's going to be studying business.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited for him.
A perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Yeah, everyone's success level is different, and it just depends on what you want. Go for your goals. We can help you along the way as well, as we did with the last 3 students that we talked about. But is there anything else you want to add, Caleb, as we kind of wrap up the podcast? What is your version of success? Let me ask you that.
Oh, wow, that's deep.
I know.
Oof.
Think about it.
Wow. I think for success for me has changed a lot over the years.
I agree.
And I think that's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think just being able to just enjoy life is a big piece of it. And that work-life balance is really important to me. When I'm at work, I want to be working hard and be diligent and do my absolute best, especially with my students, right? But it's also, when I'm not at work, I'd like to not be at work.
Right. And I have to think about it all the time and just be able to be present in your, in your
whatever
real life.
I'm doing, and with my wife or with friends or family or whoever it may be. So I think that's that's one way that at least that I would measure success.
I agree. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Oh, man.
Oh, we got it. Well, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, please let us know. And thanks always for listening to the Simply Smarter podcast with Caleb and Jill. If you like our show and want to know more, check out our blog at getsmarterprep.com or subscribe to the podcast to hear us talk about all things ACT related. Join us next week as we have a special guest on the show. We'll be talking to a parent of one of our students who took the April 13th ACT and getting her thoughts about ACT prep.